What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Dig It podcast. I'm your host, Drew Walsh, and we are back, season 2 in the house. Finally, it's taken a little longer than we had expected, but life's rhythm changed a little bit. We brought in our beautiful daughter, who's 4 months, Maggie Jo Walsh, who has taken priority. But we are here for season 2. We got some amazing guests, and today we got Morgan Stuart back in the house. She was with us last season. We had an awesome podcast, and it was 7-9 months ago, right? So it was a long time ago, but not that long. But a lot has gone on and transpired in the last 7 to 9 months on both of our ends. And for the listeners, Morgan Stuart is a savage. She's a beast, awesome, stud human being, stud coach. And I'm really grateful for the relationship that we've got to garner over the past years. And I think it was based upon just our pure passion for infield play and coaching. Like, I think we're both obsessed on that. And then also just in between the years, like, our impact on our community means a lot to us. And I was immediately gravitated towards that when I first came across your page. And I'm rocking the shirt right now, Defense Club. Right. Super excited to be a part of that. Got some cool things coming in the next couple months. Defense Club, how would you explain it, Coach Morgan? Like the Avengers of like softball and infield play, or what?
Yeah, I mean, my vision with Defense Club when I put it together was, one, I don't know everything. And I follow a ton of really smart, really cool people that I'm obsessed with because they're obsessed with defense. And I thought, okay, I've got this like tribe of kids and families that follow me because I'm the defense girl, but like I'm learning all the time. And I know that the people that I love to follow are also lifelong learners. So let's do this. Let's be together in this club and learn and grow. And that's it.
I love it. And listen, for listeners who want to hear more about it, like we already went through your whole history on the first episode. It was amazing. You have a really cool past, and you got to do some things at a high level and continue to do that. So definitely, listeners, go back and go to season 1 and listen to that. Coach Morgan Stewart is out of Anaheim, California. Okay. And she, that's her home base. She does a lot of work out there, has a awesome community, but she travels. She gets out there and does a lot of camps and things like that. But Coach Morgan, it's been 7 to 9 months since you've last been on. A lot changes, like not like life doesn't flip upside down, but like as far as a coach, there might be a topic you're hot on the past few months. What's that for you, if there is, right now?
So right now, what I've been watching very diligently is how the girls are securing the ball in their glove, or maybe not securing the ball in their glove. I mean, there's so many little things that we can look at, but this in particular, I've been like in the beginning of my career, I was really into, the ball never stops; it only changes direction. Let's deflect and transfer. Boom, 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 boom. And then you get to a point where it's like, okay, one, when we're transferring, our grip's wrong, or when we're transferring, we're not starting our throw in the right way. So there's a lot of different ways we can go with that transfer. But then I went backwards and I'm like, man, that ball's rattling around in our glove. And that's why we can't get a good grip, because it's rattling around and boom, it hits us right here in the hand. It's rattling around, it's on our fingertips, and we lose it. So yeah, this week and probably for the last couple weeks, it's like, man, make the ball stick in there, then get a grip, and let's go.
I'm fired up right now because it's one of those things like we've seen for, anyone who's playing or a coach or even a parent. You've seen so many Instagram videos or MLB videos of hand path work where you have an infielder kneeling, half kneel stance, and they're going through all these hand path drills, which I did my whole entire life. And I understood them from a very surface level standpoint. Like, literally, we're training your hands because you feel the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then as you coach and you just see these talented infielders throw poorly, you see these talented infielders. There's disruption in rhythm between the ball hitting their glove and the ball releasing, especially when there's a quicker runner, right? Like when the internal clock gives them a speedy runner, and then you're like, wait a minute, you're really good, but something's wrong. And
Mm.
then you go back, you dive deep in the layers, and it's like, oh snap, like my throw begins at my transfer, my handbrake. Like that's the first sequence of my throw, right? So if I'm looking for the ball, the first sequence of my throw, that's chaotic. That's defensive, which we do not want. So take us through like, all right, let's just start two hands here. But routine ground ball, balls hit within the middle of your right and left shoulder, middle of your body. Talk to me here. Like, where is that ball arriving? And like, what's the most common thing you see? Is it late with their feet? Is it loud with their glove? Is it a what do you got?
Man, there's a
Everything?
lot of
Everything. That was a lot.
everything.
That's
I
the
mean,
coffee hitting.
it's like it's triggering for me. No, but even last night, so everyone's got semi different issues, but the biggest thing I think is being ready early is actually being ready on time. And by being ready, I guess I mostly mean when the ball's arriving in your area, wherever you could make contact with this ball, your chest has got to be down already. Your hands have got to be presented. Our feet have to be creating energy with the ground. We're not just planted and statue like. So I was watching a video. One of my girls from groundwork sent this video in for me to analyze. And if you took a picture of her in each of the frames, because I've been going like pause play, because it's not in slow mo. So I'm like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, how am I going to explain creating energy with her feet when every frame it looks decent, but you can see like different posturing based on where her feet are landing. So when I'm talking about lateness, it's not just in our hands, it's also in our body, in our feet, uh where our eyes are watching, and the direction of our, like, are we looking down our face, or are we actually seeing the ball middle of our vision? So god, lots of things, probably because I ended late last night, my brain's all jumbled with like just different boom, 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 these different like sites. But um yeah, in terms of making contact, I would say the biggest thing is a lack of awareness of how early we have to be ready. And by being ready, it doesn't mean we're in that spot, feet stagnant. It means our upper body is quiet, our hands are out and presented, but we're still athletic moving through that. Lots of things.
Yeah. That's where my mind goes about every 5 minutes. And my wife's like,
Mhm.
dude, what are you doing? I'm like, thinking about fielding intersections. She,
Just
I
everything.
roll, I roll. But yeah, so when listen, I'm on the same exact page with you, and I'm just looking at like let's just clear an infield. We're at shortstop. We just start to think about a fielding intersection, okay? And a fielding intersection for me, two ways we'll describe it is like, listen, an intersection simply is when two lines cross or two lines intersect, right? So the game gives you the first line, ball traveling on the earth. Where we arrive at that right left catch is the second line, and that momentum of our right left catch and our energy of our body, the angle of our momentum is that intersection. And on a routine ground ball, obviously it's going towards first, so it's going right to left. The fielding intersection to me, but most best like visualizing it is the fielding triangle. I just still think it's a really good easy thing to describe and see for youth and coaches. Our right and left foot are the base of a triangle. Our hands create the tip. There's a lot of different triangles, right? And not just like from a geometry standpoint, but just from fielding, right? We have early, late, and we classify it early, late, on time. And there's different nuances to that. But I think what we're saying is we read hop and okay, fielding intersection, ball hits bat speed. We have to figure out our right left catch in rhythm and in sync with the cadence of that ball. We read the first hop. Okay, boom. First hop gives us a line. We know it's traveling down that line. We don't know shape and speed. Get outside that, right? And we detect speed, shape, and then we detect or anticipate that fielding triangle. It doesn't happen. I think too many infielders like make that decision at the base of the triangle. Like they arrive there and stop. I think you lost the rhythm, you lost the fluidity in the transition to go throw. So I think, like you said, like on time is that little arbitrary gray area. I think it's like we have to anticipate where that fielding intersection is going to be prior to getting there.
Yeah, I actually have a really good. I mean, my drill that we do, good hop, bad hop. You got to catch the ball in the second short hop, right? Bounce the
Yes.
ball high, catch the ball in the second short hop. And I think the problem here is there's internal timing and external timing. So how I'll define those is external timing is like the actual play. Like you get an out if you beat the runner there, right? There's the time, and external timing is that in softball, you've got like 2 seconds. In isn't that crazy? Like
We got
I continue to think
4.
about this too because I'm so obsessed with baseball because it's defensive baseball to me is an art form. It's beautiful. It's like watching dance almost. And defense and softball, it's pretty. Don't get me wrong. I like watching it, but it's like very
Such
fast.
a great point. It's such a great point because you guys, I love, and I'm like almost the reverse. I'm obsessed with watching softball because of the speed of play and how much, like how creative you have to get. But then also, you're right though, because it's chaotic. Like I'll see a lot of like infielders. It's just such a chaotic rush and panic to get the ball out because they have to. It's tough, like, and that's why I have so much respect for it because like the ones who are really good at it make it look slow. Like that's a different level of playing offense.
Yeah, but it's anticipation, right? Like our bodies, our lower bodies are often like already in the direction of where we need to throw. And that's where you get the people that can actually like freaking use their arm instead of just get it out. Because in reality, like the ball's going to always travel faster than the runner. So yeah, get the ball out of your glove. But when we find dysfunction in our arm and our path and our movement and lacking power and ultimately leading to injury is when we don't let our throw develop, like build from the ground up, right? So then it's and
Yes,
it's
you got rid
crazy.
of the ball quick, but it's floating.
Yeah. So back to my point, the good hop, bad hop drill. Yesterday, I had the video set up from the side view so you can see where they're making contact in relation to their feet. So just like what you were saying, the triangle, right? So you can see that where their feet are planted first. And in this drill, our rule, and this is from Lou Cologne, right? 2 inches, you want the 2-inch short hop. So I'm going, all right, it's not good enough to get the ball below your knees. We're attacking the ball, and to use your terminology, we're playing offense on defense. Go get it, right? So we're setting up, cameras all set up, all good and fine. And the girls are catching that 2-inch short hop. I'm like, awesome, great. Let's watch the video. Okay. And they'll plant their right foot and then take a long left step just to go get the short hop. But in reality, like we're messing up our internal timing of quick, right, left catch. Now it's right, left catch, same time. And now we're catching the ball inside of our left foot instead of having that body awareness to create boom, 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 boom. Now so there's a lot of different timing involved. And I think that's what's happening because our feet aren't necessarily ready to set up for a target. We're just completing the drill. And that's like kind of our job, right? Is creating a drill for the game, not just a drill for the drill.
Love that. For we say skills build drills build skills, but the skill has to have some really like real correlation and awareness to transfer to the game. So I think a lot we can get caught up with like a drill, like where we catch the ball and nothing, and then everything stops after that. Where it's like, I don't know, if we're working on hand pass stuff, then why the heck aren't we trying to at least enact a healthy throw, a rhythmic throw, a clean handbrake with our feet? Like that's got to be like that's sticky. Me just catching the ball and stopping my feet, get back to the line, that's not sticky. My brain won't associate it, but I'm saving that in my memory bank, right? So it's going to be in the possibility of action that I show on my next ground ball in a game. I love like the right left catch, the fielding triangle, the timing of it. I think our goal is to center it. Would you agree with that? Like we're trying to center the ball in the middle of our body, or do you like going off our left or right hip?
I love playing from the middle. And if I have a choice, I'm underneath my left eye. But especially because I'm really into making adjustments, and most of my kids move uh like sideways across the ball and get the ball on under their right eye, or even outside their right foot sometimes. It's like, what are we doing, guys? Like, we need to move on the same
Huge.
path there, or plane as the ball, and we're just moving past it, like trying to get to this point where we got to feel through it first, then throw.
See that all the time, and we're always trying to bring context. And listen, someone be like, "Oh, I overcoaching." Like, I'm like, "Yo, this game's hard, man. Like, if I could just say get through the ball, be on time, and that was it, I wouldn't have a job." But I think I see that often with the right left catch, and the hands the ball arrives on my right foot, which I think is the infielder was early to their right left catch. And now remember, we're moving right to left. So it's a change of direction action. And it's really quick. So when I arrive right left slightly early, the ball arrives on my right foot. And it just causes a cascade of throwing, transfer issues, direction issues, posture issues. Like there's a lot of byproducts to that.
Hmm.
How we fix that is by hopefully just saying, hey, listen, Morgan, great job there. But like, did you feel how you made your move into your triangle a little too early? And where'd that ball arrive? My right foot. Do you want to throw from there? No. What could we do to help that? If I had time to be there early on my right left catch, I could have got a little bit more downhill and then intersected maybe a foot or two further down the line that I saw initially off the bat. And that works for some people. Sometimes it doesn't. And then you got to start to think, all right, like I see a lot of swipe too. Then it's a matter of like, I wonder, sometimes I see like infielders, I don't hate a cross in front. Like I don't hate a cross in front getting through the ball, but sometimes I find disconnection in the separation of my hands and feet. Sometimes I'll see the ball get behind my shoulder during that crossover, but sometimes I see infielders move behind their front foot, and that creates poor
Oh
leverage or
my god.
direction. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my
That
god.
no bueno, no bueno. Um, but that's a huge one. Like receiving the ball on the right foot, and just the palm presentations not well.
Yeah, but even just following our conversation and me saying, "Oh, this is happening because we're not ready early enough." And so what, like, maybe the infielder will hear is like, "Oh, I need to be ready early." And then what you're saying is like, then that contributes to us receiving on the right side of our eyes, because, or right side of our head, because we arrived at our feet a little bit early, because that's what coach is saying, like, "Hey, get ready sooner, get ready sooner." Okay, I'm ready. Oops. Right. So one thing that we did to kind of fix the feeling of catching the ball late, or catching the ball inside of our left foot on that good hop, bad hop drill, was, all right, let's feel just getting into basically that triangle and keeping our chest low and feeling the spacing between my toes and where I'm making contact. So like, let's create that feeling. Boom, boom, boom. Stick the ball in, and we're feeling that space, and that'll help. But then it's like tracing it backwards to figuring out how do we get there. And we also use that, like, hey, if you can take a step and be early this way, we can take a step forward and take a step away from the runner. Like, but again, going back to baseball, softball, sometimes that ball's on you like that. So the difference is honestly taking thousands of reps and getting experience at your position,
Yes.
and understanding, like, that your reaction and your body's ability to react efficiently is everything in your ability to be an elite infielder.
And I love that, that's just on the spectrum of like, yo, there's no absolutes. You got to figure out what works best for you. The game will teach you that. Just be open to learning. but also challenge yourself not only from you got like learning speed, practice speed, game speed. Learning speed super slow and boring, but it brings a lot of awareness, and it's actually hard because it's not as rhythmic. Like movement is rhythm, but when you go really slow, you have control, which helps bring smoothness and fluidity, but more so positional awareness and timing. Practice speed just a little quicker. You might be moving through it a little faster, throwing the ball, and then everyone wants to go to game speed quick, and that's where you just get exposed. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it could be a really good thing if you allow it to be. Back to your point you hit on with the ball out in front of your feet. That's like, man, we talk so much about how precious that space is because
Mm.
that's where your feet need to keep going. Like the further that ball gets to the base of the triangle, I think you get more pressure on the heels of your feet. The closer that ball gets to the bottom left of that triangle, I think it also pushes you back to your heels, and it might even push you off your line. But if you do a good job and you keep that ball out in front of your feet, you allow this space for your feet to replace, right? So if you think about post fielding direction, right to left to target, right? That the when you catch the ball, if we were to hit pause at right left catch, we have to go right to left to target next. You just can't do that with a ball in your way.
Hmm.
So that space between your tip of your triangle and your base is super super important to see how you can redirect your right to left to target, and that's where your handbrake's happening in a fast paced game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I go back to kind of what you were saying about one of the first things that I remember about our podcast is like how you're talking about the direction of shin angles, right? Like changing direction. I'm like, bro, this guy
First
is
step.
way too smart for me. Like I don't know. This is where I'm gonna put my foot. I'm gonna go that way. But I think about that often though, is like where your feet are pushing and like how where is your energy going? If we've got heavy feet, like our energy is going to the ground. Got light feet, our energy can go other places in terms of where we receive the ball. If that ball's in between our feet, like the only place for us to go is up. Like our first move's got to be up in some way, and then we break our posture versus out in front. Okay, now we can move forward through it. But yeah, in terms of this conversation, like most people are probably listening to it and go, man, okay, yeah, fielding triangle, let's go, let's get to it. But like this is the story, like this is defense. And like if you're bored by this, then you're probably somebody that's bored of like watching your kids play catch. But we could do an entire lesson on catch play, period. Period.
100%. And I'll look at an infielder and like I'll see a right left catch, a fielding triangle, and be like, they threw the ball away. It's upper right, it's bottom left. Because I could just see where their energy is going, and then like it starts a cascade of panic, and there's only so many compensations one can do, but you'll start to connect them right away. And that's why I'm like, yo, I swear I'm not trying to be that boring old coach who's nitpicking about where that ball is every single time. But I trust me, I just can kind of see where this is gonna go, and I don't like that movie. Um,
Well,
but
it's funny. It's funny because we go, okay, oh God, it's such a small thing. Where your glove is, oh, it's such a small thing. But in reality, like I understand, don't sweat the small stuff. The small stuff is like maybe team drama. Like, where am I hitting in the lineup? Like, who cares about that? The small stuff is not where you make contact with the ball because that's going to determine the outs, and outs are everything. This is our game. Like if there
yes,
are no small things when it comes to where you make contact with the ball. If you have the ball, everything that you're doing around that matters. Like you were saying about learning speed, practice speed, game speed. Nobody is having fun really in learning speed. If you think about like the different levels of athletes that we train, right? We've got like beginner rec players, we've got travel ball players, we've got kids that are going to go to college and play, and then we've got the college kids, got the pro people, right? Beginner rec are so bored with this learning speed, but that's where they need to live.
hundred
So
percent.
we end up compensating or like compromising and going, hey, let's go to practice speed. And it's like, oh yeah, this is fun, drills, love it, love it, love it. Then we go to game speed and they're like, oh my God, I'm afraid of the ball. It's like, okay, where's the sweet spot? So that's kind of where I live most of the time, is like in between that learning practice speed. And then when we go to game speed, because parents are like, hey, my kid needs to be challenged. She needs to go in the upper level class. And I'm like, hold on, let's see how we do with game speed of like 8U 9U, 10U game speed. Oh, we still can't make it in the net. So no, she cannot move up, because in reality, I understand that she's bored here. And there's kids that you might not think are as athletic as her or as talented physically, but in reality, maturity wise, listening wise, making adjustment wise, following direction wise, not there.
Love
Sorry.
that.
And performance wise, using your word, she's exposed right now. Why can't we make it in this 8x8 net, guys? There's not a 9-year-old that can cover that space.
That's funny. That's so good and on point and accurate, because everybody just wants to, see progression of their kid move up. Oh no, like my son or daughter plays for this travel team, like they're advanced. I'm like, nothing personal, but like I just don't see it for like, and it's not nothing personal. I'm not just saying this about your son or daughter. It's just for like exact reasons you said. It's just not doing the task is to collect outs, right? They can't collect outs right now. I'm sorry. It wouldn't behoove them. I love that. And it's cool that you're able to like put your foot down, right? It's a business. I get you got to like, you want to make everyone happy, but great job for you for keeping the athlete where they need to be. I love that. What else, coach? Back to learning speed, practice speed. I just think attitude's a skill. And we have some of the athletes that like do the boring stuff with a smile on their face. And inside they could be like, this stuff's so boring, but like this is my job. Like this is my responsibility. This is what I need to do. I think we don't teach attitude enough. Like attitude could be like it's kind of what you can control. Like we have to approach those mundane things. That's what the best in the world do. They approach those mundane things with ferocious intent. And then it's like, why are those kids getting better at game speed? I'm not good at math, but they're just doing the ABC stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, and also I think we're dealing with like a lot of different levels of commitment. So in terms of like, okay, I'm gonna reference two different things, and people might be like, "Oh my gosh, this person's nuts." But are you the ham or the eggs? Right? Are you the ham or the eggs? If you're the eggs, you're involved, right? Like, okay, chicken lays the eggs, now it's done with it. Okay, you're involved. You play softball, you're involved. Are you the ham? The pig had to die here to be committed to this meal. Ham or eggs, right? Like, so
I love it.
are you actually like fully invested? Like this is your thing. And we're talking about 10, 11, 12-year-old kids. Like, so at this point, you don't have to be the ham. Like,
Right.
cool. Let's get your eggs on the plate. But then I saw this other thing on Instagram of like people putting hours and hours into these video games because they're like, man, I need to get this and I need to do this. I need to be good at this. And yeah, so and so is a master player. And they're like looking up to these people that play video games. Like, guys, it's the same thing. Life is the same like that. You put in time, you put in effort, you put in energy, and you get out like, dang, you're pretty good. And so we look at like kids will look at sport like it's like homework. Like, oh, go and do your reps, go and do your reps, or you can't go to the movies. Go and do your reps, or you can't like go to a friend's house. And it's like, fine. Like flip it though, in terms of, oh, if you go and do your reps, or else you can't play video games, versus like, oh, I want to do my reps because I'm so obsessed with this. It's so fun. And I want to be really good at it. Imagine if you had that mindset about the game and it's like, whoa, then it's not a have to, it's like, I need to.
I get to. I get to. There's so many people in this world that would love to have a glove and go do these things. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of the times it's the parents who are the hams, and they want it way more than their son or daughter, and the son or daughter is just the egg that get dropped off, and they're there just kind of punching the box, checking the box, and like part of me gets it, it's empathetic. They're young, like let's keep it interactive, let's keep it fun. But then I'm like, my job is to get you better, but also get you to understand like discipline and responsibility So like you're gonna do these drills that aren't that much fun, but like you have like this is the vitamins you need. Like you need these vitamins or else this ain't gonna work. That's a constant battle. I think a lot of parents want it more than the kids. I'm not sure some of the parents understand that.
Yeah, and that's okay because I think that's always going to be the battle. And that's why I think sport is such a great vehicle for life lessons, right? If you and I are constantly going like, "Hey, you got to do this so you get this." That's a recipe. Like hard work and time and energy and effort and good attitude is always a recipe for success. No matter if you actually it actually materializes into like your vision board with going to a specific school in a specific state. Like no matter what, your character is being built every single day that you're putting in that kind of work. And by work, it's not just the reps, it's like how you approach the reps, the intent of your reps, the purpose and the thoughts of like going into each thing. Like I'm doing this because it's the right thing. I'm doing this because I'm learning. I'm doing this to build myself from the inside out, not like what it looks like or what I'm going to get from it, but because it makes me better. Because I myself, the people around me can feel that. Uh, so like that's the beauty of sport, man. Like we can be so obsessed in like these little things of um like we're in the weeds, right? Talking about where we're making contact. But in reality, like the small things do matter. They do.
Yes, I think and just the analogy of like, yo, if you don't build the foundation by the time you get to the penthouse, none of that matters. You've gotten so far, you have to go back down or redo everything, and it just makes it more difficult because you're stuck in your ways. You've built patterns, you've built habits, all these things. So it's like, yo, I'm trying to save you time, man. I'm trying to save you time by taking care of these foundational things that are going to help you enjoy the game more, like and be more proud of what you put in. Um, it'll all be worth it. I think that again, sports are the best for those reasons, right? They build character, they build responsibility, hopefully accountability, right? All those things that everybody needs to be successful as they move forward through high school, college life. And I absolutely love that. And I think that's where we definitely agree on trying to build these life lessons, defense lessons into everything we can. Um, Coach, what else is rocking? Think like it's almost Christmas time. Think back to when you were a college player, right? Like this was like your little coming up, like obviously crazy stressful. You had finals coming up, and I do remember those being like genuinely stressful, and I did not like those times. But you got home, you had a month off, right? Like say for like high school is getting ramped up, but college is coming down. Like we're entering a season. What are a few bullet points you would tell some college infielders to work on over break?
Man, I think the biggest, coolest thing that I remember, like my especially my freshman, sophomore year coming back from college was like a mental reset. I felt like in those 2 years specifically, I was kind of holding my breath in the fall and just like kind of bracing myself for the unknown, bracing myself for like all the school that had to happen and just like was so uptight and then coming home for the holidays being able to see family and friends and just have people be proud of you for just like being you and not like they're not in the day in day out, they weren't in the scrimmage and saw you strike out, like they don't care about all of that, they're just like there for you. So like getting that mental reset, soaking it up, not feeling like super pressured, have a schedule, right? Like so you stay in shape, like you probably have a packet that they take that you're sent home with, do your schedule, whatever. But give yourself time to take naps, hang out with your mom and dad, and just like update them on what's going on with you. Cause I think that was probably the biggest thing is like you feel like you're so tense and under pressure and like you get to see people that love you for you. And it's not about anything other than that. So getting that reset and then just including them, I think is like the most important thing.
I love that. I think that's spot on. I remember coming home first couple days, so excited to see friends and family. And then by like day four, I was like, all right, taking a ferry back to Brooklyn to work out every day, hit and like just like it was like it became like your cool job. You didn't have school. It was just only about your sport, your craft. So it was like, I don't have to rush my lift. I don't have to rush my GBs. I don't have to rush hitting. I could take a break. I could like kind of reflect on things and kind of see a vision, right? Like kind of usually your gas fall, right? Like all gas, no
Mhm.
brakes. Take a quick little decel because season's a blur. Season is this amazing huge blur that starts and ends, and you're like, whoa. Like we just won a regionals. Like I almost like blinked and I didn't. So I would just and it's but at the same token, coach, it's the longest thing ever. It's one of those
Yeah.
weird things. It's like this is the quickest, longest experience ever because like my coach would always say, listen, opening day is gonna feel like from opening day to playoffs is gonna feel like 8 years ago, right? Like just don't worry about that at bat. Don't worry about that era. Like it's gonna be a long season, but now looking back, it seems like a blur. What about high school, coach? Like they're kind of starting winter ball. Like they're in the thick of things. What are some things that you would talk to about for high school infielders going in the season that they take care of, be responsible for
Um, Nutrition is something that I think high school players lack a ton of. So
in
maybe
general?
resetting and having a plan, because like those practice and like a high school day is a lot, because I feel like a lot of people, even especially if you don't drive, you leave the house in the morning at like 6 a.m. You got your practice stuff, and you got like maybe a lunch or something that you pack, and then you're probably going to buy hot Cheetos and a Gatorade in the vending machine, and then go to practice, and you're not home, and then get lessons or whatever. Not home until 9 p.m. And it's a lot. It's like a lot on your body, and we don't think about it. So that recovery aspect is massive.
I love that. Coach, youth, before we wrap it up, youth players, what is the biggest barrier for them achieving like what's in front of them? Outside of hard work, we understand like we understand that to like on a surface level. As far as actionizing it, that's a whole nother level. But like say we got a girl, boy, puts in all the hard work, like usually what's the biggest obstacle for them to see their success?
Oh shoot. Um, I would say parents speaking for their kids.
Bam.
Parents speaking for their kids and having everything laid out and doing too much for them. Like from the point of, if they are old enough to go to a lesson, they should be carrying their own equipment. They should be responsible for their water. They should be responsible for remembering all their equipment afterwards, and they should know what they're working on.
Love that. I ask everybody every single session is like, hey, what are you working on? I see you 1 hour a week, 4 hours a month. You practice 5 other days. How's it going? Have a pulse, have awareness on what the heck feels uncomfortable, what you need to work, what's your coach telling you at practice. So love that. I think kids, a lot of kids be like, oh, backhand. But they don't mean that, right? They just haven't thought about it. I'm like, yo, just on the drive over here. Don't nap and just think about what you want to work on so this can be as productive. I know what I want to work on, but I'm not you, right? I'm not at practice with you. I think that's awesome. Couldn't agree more. Like kids, if you could lift your 5 bats, you carry them. If you could lift
Yeah.
your backpack, carry it. It's not mom or dad's fault you forgot your glove. You've been coming here this Tuesday for the last 8 months. You knew you were coming here after school. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Love that. Coach, what do we got going on? This is a question I know the answer to, but what do we have going on in the next maybe month or so?
We have groundwork elevated. This is a
Boom,
big
boom.
bad clinic,
Drum roll.
and Mr. Drew Walsh is going to be there on
Let's
Friday all day,
go. All day, all
and
day.
it's going to be sick. It's going to be really cool.
Cannot wait. So it's going to be the first part of it, guys, is going to be at the softball workshop, your home base, right? The hub in
Yep.
Anaheim.
Mhm.
That's going to be 9 to 2 p.m.
Mhm.
Ton of awesome coaches there. It's going to be filled with energy and awesomeness. And then lunch, and then Coach Lou Cologne's coming into town, which you guys are spearheading that camp, which I'll be helping out with, which I'm pumped to just watch two studs do their thing, and I'm just gonna be yelling in the background. with a weird accent. That kids are like, yo, who's that weird guy who's not from this area you guys brought? But what else? So you got anything else you got rocking? That's kind of, I'm sure that's taking up a lot of your attention.
Man, other than that, I'm gonna be launching some new defense club collaborators here starting in January. Uh yeah, we got your stuff coming on. We got Meg Rem stuff coming on. Sydney Romero, we did like a shortstop course, which is really cool. I did that long ago, so that's finally coming out.
Let's go.
Um, so yeah, just working.
Love that. And so say someone heard this, when can they sign up until for the groundwork elevated camp?
Groundwork registration is closed December 5th. So
Hurry up.
like hurry up.
Hurry up. Awesome, coach. I don't know if this is going to be aired before then, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But anyway, Coach Morgan Stuart, absolutely, like genuinely is always a pleasure to have you on. I love talking infield play with you. I always learn something new, and thank you so much for your time and coming on this podcast. Like our listeners, like they're in for a treat. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. I love coming on. Season 3, let's go.
You're the best. Season 3, over and out.